Bonsoir à tous, I hope you're doing great. I'm here in Grenoble. It's our 8th week of confinement. I have a massive cup of tea with me, so I might drink some during the tale. And we're going to keep reading the tales by Patrick Beau. These ones are about the planet Earth, and they're cute and scary, which you will love as usual. Let's start reading this together. 1, 2, and 3. Le projet consistait à se rapprocher le plus possible du centre de la Terre. Mais après avoir creusé pendant un mois, la foreuse se heurta à un rocher que les géologues ne parvenaient pas à identifier. « Ce n'est pas un rocher, annonça le biologiste de l'équipe. C'est un cocon. » Oh, that's scary. Le projet consistait à se rapprocher le plus possible du centre de la Terre. Let's look at this first sentence again. If this is our first time, the way we do this is we read the tale together first, or yes, I want to hear you. And then we analyze each sentence, we look at the vocabulary, we look at how we use the verbs. I give you lots of examples and context and extra cultural elements around this. And then at last, we read the tale again and I'll explain everything, so I'm sure you understand the twist. I love seeing in the chat people saying, I get it now, because it's lovely, because I can imagine your eyes lightening up and a big smile appearing on your face, so that's good. Le projet consistait à se rapprocher. It is quite the same at the beginning. The project consisted in. À se rapprocher, here consistait. This is what it was about. Se rapprocher, it is to get closer to. Closer from. I think this is what you say. Se rapprocher de. And unfortunately, you have to learn that it is de for from here. Se rapprocher le plus possible de. Le plus possible, it is the most. Le plus possible. The most. Let's say as much as possible. And here, le plus possible, no, le plus possible. You have to say the S. Because it is plus for more, as much as you can, more, the more possible, literally. Le plus possible, as much as possible. Du centre de la Terre, from the center of the earth. Le centre is the center, and la Terre, it is, the earth, and la Terre, it is earth. So we use it in the same way. La Terre, the earth, and la Terre, earth. By the way, do you know how to say moon? It is la lune. The moon. La lune. I'm drinking a bit of tea. Let's read this together. Le projet consistait à se rapprocher le plus possible du centre de la Terre. Should I put one liaison here? Le projet consistait à se rapprocher. Le projet consistait à se rapprocher. I'm not really sure. Le projet consistait à se rapprocher. Let's put one. You saw that in the lesson about la liaison. Some liaisons are optional. And here I'm not really sure whether it's optional or forbidden or if I should put it. And I want to emphasize that on purpose because I am French. I've been teaching French for, over 8 years now, over that. And I'm not even sure if there is one here. So I would probably say it quickly several times to try to see how it sounds in my mouth. And this is why la liaison is so difficult for students because very few people sit down and show them what to do, because it's so instinctive for us, but it's very difficult to explain. So this is why I really wanted to do a lesson on that. Let's move on to the next one. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Mais après avoir creusé, or mais après avoir, mais après, let's put one at the beginning and not one after. Mais après avoir creusé pendant un mois, not pendant un mois, pendant un mois, la foreuse se heurta à un rocher que les géologues ne parvenaient pas à identifier. Here we have one for sure. Mais après avoir creusé pendant un mois. But after having what? What are they doing? You can imagine what they're doing based on the first sentence. Creuser, it is to dig. It can be something literal, as in j'ai creusé un trou dans mon jardin pour y mettre un nouvel arbre. Let's use planter. It's way more elegant. J'ai creusé un trou, I dig a hole in my garden, dans mon jardin, pour y planter un nouvel arbre. In order to plant a new tree. I digged a hole in my garden in order to plant a new tree. But also, j'ai creusé cette idée de satellite et je pense avoir trouvé une méthode pour en fabriquer un. I digged, I'm going to read the sentence. J'ai creusé cette idée de satellite et je pense avoir trouvé une méthode pour en fabriquer un. I digged this idea. I thought about it a lot. J'ai creusé cette idée de satellite. I digged this satellite idea. Satellite idea. And I think I found a method to build one. Okay. So here, cette idée de satellite, it's not a satellite idea. It is more this idea that I wanted to make one. We talked about it before. Here, there is context that is missing from the sentence, something that was said before, because here you're following up on some conversation that you had before. This doesn't come out of the blue. J'ai creusé cette idée de satellite. Here, it's about, do you say that in English? Satellite? Sometimes words are way too obvious. Satellite. I have no idea how to say that, so I'm going to say it in French. So you dig this idea of satellite and you found a way to build one. So this is a follow-up on an idea, okay? So don't take this example as something that comes out of the blue. It is a follow-up on something else. Pendant un mois, for a month. Pendant un mois is for a month, during a month. La foreuse. La foreuse, it is the drilling machine. And the funny thing is, un foret, it is a drill bit, this thing you put at the end of a drilling machine, and une forêt is a forest. Okay, so it's not the same. Don't forget the accent circonflexe. Don't forget l'accent circonflexe. La foreuse se heurta à un rocher. Se heurter, it is to hit or to bump into something. Se heurter, it is to hit, to bump. To be stopped by something. And it is se heurter. Because you can use heurter as well. For example, la voiture a heurté, this is the simplest example, a heurté un arbre. The car hit a tree. La voiture a heurté un arbre. But for example, it's a series that we're watching now on Netflix. Dans la série Hollywood, l'auteur du script du film se heurte au racisme de l'époque. L'auteur du script du film se heurte au racisme de l'époque. That's not great. Le talent de l'auteur, it's not great either. Dans la série Hollywood, sur Netflix, the talent of the author of the script of the movie is stopped by the racism of the time. Le talent de l'auteur se heurte au racisme. Yeah, that's a bit better. Le talent de l'auteur du script du film, so the talent of the author of the script of the movie, is getting stopped by something, se heurter. And we have a bad collide, no, bumped into, crashed into, hurt. Met with, that's better. Met with the racism of the time. So his talent is met by, or hit, or crushed by the racism of the time because he is black. But he's really, really good. No, he's black and he's really, really good. But because of racism, they don't want to produce his movie. La foreuse se heurta à un rocher. Un rocher is a rock. Un rocher, it is a rock. And do you say how we say a tiny rock? Un caillou. A small rock. So un caillou is something that you can hold in your hand and under in size, okay? Doesn't have to be really, really, really small, but the idea is something that you can actually throw. If you can throw it and a little bit under, it is un caillou. Se heurtaient à un rocher que les géologues ne parvenaient pas à identifier. That the geologists didn't manage to identify. Parvenir, it is to manage, succeed. Okay, have this idea of succeeding at something. Ne parvenez pas à identifier. Let's read that together. Mais après avoir creusé pendant un mois, la foreuse se heurta à un rocher que les géologues ne parvenaient pas à identifier. But after digging for a month, the drilling machine bumped into a rock that the geologists didn't manage to identify. And this is the scary bit. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ce n'est pas un rocher, annonça le biologiste de l'équipe. C'est un cocon. It's not a rock, announced the biologist of the team. It is a cocoon. So this is scary. I didn't explain the vocabulary more here because it's either the same or it's something I already mentioned before. Une équipe is a team. Une équipe. Ce n'est pas un rocher. Here we have une liaison. I think you noticed it. Annonça le biologiste de l'équipe. C'est un cocon. And here, did you find this one? C'est un cocon. Let's reread the tale together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Le projet consistait à se rapprocher le plus possible du centre de la Terre. The project consisted in getting as close as possible from the center of the Earth. Mais après avoir creusé pendant un mois, la foreuse se heurta à un rocher que les géologues ne parvenaient pas à identifier. But after digging for a month, the drilling machine hit a rock that the geologist didn't manage to identify. Ce n'est pas un rocher, annonça le biologiste de l'équipe, c'est un cocon. It is not a rock, announced the biologist of the team, it is a cocoon. Why is it a twist? Because the geologists were digging and digging and digging, and they'd find something they didn't know what it was, but actually the biologist told them it was a cocoon, so it might open up to a beast that we have no idea what it is, and maybe it will be a 12-armed god that we saw yesterday. No, 2 days ago. So it is un cocon, and this is a mystery. And again, this opens our mind to new endings because each one of us can tell or can have an idea about what's going to happen. Let's move on to the next one. Put it in bold. And here, the vocabulary is not very, very difficult. So you will be able to guess most of it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Allô? Qui êtes-vous? Un explorateur. Note, je suis un explorateur. Un explorateur. Je suis perdu au milieu du désert. Mais comment vous avez eu ce numéro? J'ai un prototype de téléphone qui contacte automatiquement la personne la plus proche. Vous êtes où? Dans la station spatiale internationale. Ah, ah. Allô, qui êtes-vous? Allô, who are you? Here, the vocabulary is easy, but there is one thing I really wanted to say that I've seen students at the C2 level make this mistake. Allô is only for the phone. It is not the translation of hello in everyday life. Okay. Do not say hello to people you're writing to or you're talking to that is not on the phone. Hello is only the beginning of the conversation and that's it. It is a very common mistake. If you've been making it, it's fine. Now you can correct yourself. But if you've been doing it, it's time to fix it. And instead say bonjour or coucou or any kind of things. If you don't know the people, say bonjour is always the right answer during the day. And bonsoir after, let's say, 6 p.m. is better. Okay, so hello, remember, do not use it as a translation of hello in everyday life. It is only for the phone. Un explorateur. Here we have une liaison, the very, very classic liaison. Un explorateur, je suis perdu au milieu du désert. Je suis perdu au milieu du désert. Être perdu is to be lost. Être perdu, to be lost. Se perdre is to lose yourself. Se perdre, to lose yourself. Okay. And you can lose something as well. If you put it this way. Un explorateur, je suis perdu au milieu du désert. I am an explorer, I'm lost in the middle of the desert. When I was living in England, I struggled a lot with dessert and desert. So, le désert, it is desert. And le dessert, with a different sound, it is dessert. And I think you write it the same way. That's the trick. Dessert. You put 2 S's. Okay. But accents in English are still a mystery to me. I know I have a book, like I can touch it from here, a wonderful book about pronunciation in English, and I would love to actually focus on that. It was one of my personal professional goals for 2020. Yeah, it's weird, but it's a goal for my company that is going to improve myself, and that was my goal. And I will let you know how it goes. Well, anyway, you will see it if I actually do it. Le désert, the sound. Le dessert, ce sound. Au milieu de is in the middle of. In the middle of. Let's read this one together. Un explorateur, je suis perdu au milieu du désert. Let's read this one together. Mais, comment vous avez eu ce numéro? But how did you get this number? How did you get this number? The vocabulary is pretty straightforward. Let's read this together again. Mais, comment vous avez eu ce numéro? How did he get this number, indeed? J'ai un prototype de téléphone qui contacte automatiquement la personne la plus proche. Vous êtes où? Here we have a liaison. Did you find this liaison, by the way? Good. J'ai un prototype de téléphone. I have a prototype for a telephone qui contacte automatiquement, that automatically contacts, la personne la plus proche, the closest person. And remember, le plus possible, as much as possible. And here we have la plus proche, the closest. The person the closest from me. Vous êtes où? Where are you? Just going to write this one. La plus proche. It is the closest. And you could definitely write le. Le plus proche or la plus proche. Vous êtes où? Where are you? So where is he? Dans la station spatiale internationale. In the International Space Station. In English it is ISS. But in French it should be SSI, SSI. But we don't call it this way. We call it l'ISS or la Station Spatiale Internationale. Let's reread this together again, and then I want to give you a fact about the ISS. Allô, qui êtes-vous? Here there should be a tiret. Allô, qui êtes-vous? Hello. Hello, who are you? Un explorateur, je suis perdu au milieu du désert. I'm an explorer, I'm lost in the middle of the desert. Mais comment vous avez eu ce numéro? But how did you get this number? J'ai un prototype de téléphone qui contacte automatiquement la personne la plus proche. Vous êtes où? I have a prototype for a telephone that contacts automatically the person who is closest from me. Where are you? So we have an explorer in the middle of the desert. So we assume that he is in need of something. And he calls with his prototype of phone who contacts a closer person. So he assumed that he's going to be in a village close to the desert, or someone traveling in the desert that can help him. Because the desert is big, but it's not empty. How did you get that number? So it is a weird invention. And the person is not in the desert or in a nearby village or in a, you say oasis? Do I say that in English? I know it's a brand. Okay, you say that as well, oasis. But no, the closest person from him is in the International Space Station, dans la Station Spatiale Internationale. So it is weird because he's afraid that maybe he's the last person on Earth. But actually the ISS, I checked because I remember that it wasn't that far, is only at 408 kilometers from it's very close from the Earth. Let's check it together. Yes. Because I want to give you something interesting. Yeah, so it is really at 400 kilometers from Earth. And so it's not that far. So it's not that far. So if you think about it, it is scary because he thought it would be someone on Earth, but actually no, and it's not that far if the ISS is just at the top of where he is. But the ISS is really, really fast. It goes at 7 kilometers per second. So yeah, it is a bit scary, but maybe there is someone on the other side of the Earth. Maybe, according to what we see in the town. Might be someone on the other side of the Earth. Yes, that's possible. Because the ISS does a full round around the Earth in 90 minutes. We are reverse engineering the tale. Le tour de la Terre. When there are scientific facts in stories, I love to check them out to actually see if they fit. I know it's weird, but that's my thing. So the ISS is only 410 kilometers from Earth. It travels at 7 kilometers per second, and it takes 1.5 hours to do to do round around the Earth. So it's definitely possible that something happened, and there's no one close to him at least 400 kilometers. But maybe the other side of the Earth is fine, and he's going to find his family and friends safe. Okay, so maybe that's my hope for him. But the tale is all about the fact that he was expecting someone very close, but there isn't, and there's only someone far, far, far away in the ISS. Whoa. So two scary tales about planet Earth where we don't know what happened and we don't know what is going to happen, which is actually pretty close to what's happening right now. I wish you a lovely evening, and if there is one thing that you could do for me, that would be wonderful for these tales, if you found them interesting so far, is that you could share that with friends. If you have colleagues on your Alliance Française group, your local school, your online school, or people you know who love France and French culture and learning French, if you could share the playlist maybe, or just telling them about what I've been doing so far and that they could enjoy, it would be wonderful. So this way we could have more people have fun time every day during confinement, or every week if they want to catch up every week, but that's a lot. So yeah, if you could do that, that would be lovely. On Facebook, on Twitter, or by email, by telling your friends, that's going to be tricky. But only any way that you have to tell your Francophile friend about these tales that we've been doing so far, that would be really lovely. And then you will catch up with them in the chat as well, like other students do. I wish you une bonne soirée, une bonne journée, maybe une bonne nuit. And I will see you tomorrow at 7:15 Paris time. I hope you don't have too many nightmares. And if you do, I'm sorry, it's my fault. Actually, no, it's Patrick Beau's fault. And I'm just sharing them with you. Allez, salut, à demain.